Hannah Swensen is now Hannah Barton. She's on her honeymoon with her new husband, Ross. She's enjoyed herself, but she doesn't like having him around all the time. It's confining, it's stifling. Geez, really? She's been married for one page, and she's already complaining about how much she hates her husband. This relationship is doomed.
Argo Funk Book Review. Argo Funk Book Review.
Hannah is mad because Ross got her champagne without asking, and she didn't want champagne. She pours it down the drain. Ross notices the glass is empty, so he gets her more, and now she's even madder because she didn't want champagne in the first place, and she's acting like a 3-year-old, seriously. Hannah can't wait until they go back home so she can go back to work and not be around Ross all the time. Keep in mind, Ross is supposed to be the love of her life. He's the culmination of a 20-book love triangle. It sure doesn't seem like true love. It seems like a colossal mistake on the author's part. That's when Hannah gets a message from home saying Mother found a dead body. Hannah's depressed because one of her baked goods was at the crime scene. Would the murderers in town please have more consideration for her desserts? Let me rewind a bit. The book starts with a prologue chapter where Hannah's mother falls out of her chair. She spends 2 pages giggling at herself and wondering how is she going to get back up off of the ground. It's supposed to be funny, but it's super weird. The book starts with 2 pages of not knowing how chairs work. Mother overhears the downstairs neighbor being murdered. She calls the police for help. Then she completely ignores them and enters the crime scene herself. Mike should put her under arrest for tampering with a crime scene against direct police orders. Mother uses the la la la, I can't hear you excuse for ignoring him. Hannah comes back from her honeymoon. Her family surprises her with a complete home makeover. They changed everything in her condo except for her precious kitchen. Nobody touches the kitchen. I think this is a terrible surprise. Her family replaced everything she owns without her knowledge or consent. Normally, Hannah would have a fit over this, but she is too distracted by her cat to care. Ross is going to live with Hannah from now on. Where was he living before? What happened to all of his belongings? We never find out. There's some tension with Ross. Hannah wonders how they're going to share a bathroom together. Is he okay with Michelle living in their guest room? And does Ross expect her to make breakfast every morning? Those are some legitimate questions, Hannah. Maybe you should share them with your husband instead of worrying about them to yourself. The murder victim is Tori Bascombe, a famous actress who runs the local theater group. Mother stole Tori's appointment book from the crime scene. Again, Mother should be arrested. The night Tori was killed, she met with the lead actress in the play, as well as M. Dumont. Nobody knows who Dumont is. It takes about 300 pages for Hannah to realize that's one of the characters in the play. I can't help but feel someone should have realized that sooner, especially since Michelle is the replacement director. Hannah should have asked everyone who Dumont is, instead of giving up after asking Mom. There's more drama with Ross because he hangs up the phone before she can say I love you. He doesn't kiss her awake in the morning, and he wants to watch TV tonight when she wants to go into town. Why didn't he read her mind and know that's what she wanted to do? Hannah goes into town to speak with the play's lead, who's a waitress, which leads to plenty of food talk. She says the victim had an angry confrontation with her brother, Mayor Bascombe. The mayor was having dinner at a restaurant that night, so Hannah goes to another waitress, which leads to even more food talk. There is so much unnecessary food talk here. The waitress explains how a turkey sandwich is made, step by step. This takes 3 pages. It's followed by a 3-page recipe for the same sandwich. So we read the recipe twice in a row. The waitress alibis the mayor and introduces a new suspect, the victim's money manager. The problem is that nobody has any idea who the money manager is. This leads to a half-hearted investigation which is dragged out for too long. Turns out he's some guy nobody knows, and he was out of the country that day. The theater is broke, so they decide to have a pie-eating contest as a fundraiser. I swear, the book cares more about the pie contest than the murder mystery. There are many chapters where our heroes brainstorm who should be in the contest, how they can convince people to join, how to publicize the contest, and so on. Ross leaves for New York for his work. Hannah is mad he didn't call her and warn her about this ahead of time. That is a legitimate complaint, and she fumes about it until realizing he did call her and text her multiple times. She just forgot to check her phone. After Mother broke into the victim's house, Mike asked her to hand over her key. Mother has a good laugh at Mike's expense because she made a secret copy of the key and he didn't ask about that. She sure fooled him. Ha ha ha. So Mother lied to the police to give herself more opportunities to break into the crime scene. Again, Mother should be arrested. Hannah asks if she can borrow the key. Mother says no. Hannah repeats Mother's joke that it's not the real key, it's the secret copy of the key. Mother still says no. So that dumb wordplay trick only works when Mother does it, but not when anyone else does it. Mother is a total hypocrite. Mother uses the key to let Hannah and her friends into the victim's home. They search for a while. Somebody else breaks into the victim's home at the exact same time. He's a man with black tennis shoes. The victim recently broke up with him. He's our prime suspect for a while, until Hannah realizes it's Al Percy. Who? He's a real estate agent that readers are supposed to remember from previous books. Like he was in the one book where he was at a table? I'm sorry, I don't remember this guy. Hannah goes to a play rehearsal where she meets Vivian the actress. Then she gets a video about the victim. The victim got her big break in acting when Lane Warner mysteriously became sick on opening night. Warner was furious and blamed the victim for ruining her career. Warner later disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to her. Hannah can't help but feel that Warner looks familiar somehow. At the pie contest, Hannah gossips about Vivian the actress. Everybody thinks it's weird Vivian keeps to herself. Why wouldn't someone want to deal with their co-workers outside of work? That's suspicious. Hannah questions Vivian, who's Lane Warner in disguise. She is the killer. Warner confesses everything, and Mike shows up in time to save Hannah's life. We end with a big cliffhanger. Ross has disappeared for unknown reasons. It looks like he had to flee the country in a hurry. Hannah worries about Ross's safety. Like she hasn't been insulting him in her inner monologue for this entire book. The end. Post-book follow-up. I wasn't a fan of this book. As usual, the story wastes way too much time on food and pointless conversations. The book could have been half as long. I was hoping that Hannah and Ross would have a good married life, but she mostly complained about him. That just confirms my feelings that it was a bad idea for Hannah to marry him. There is one sweet scene of them together, but it's at the start of chapter 23. That's pretty far into the book. I wish they had been that sweet together the entire time. Then I would totally support the Hannah-Ross married relationship. Hannah's old boyfriends, Mike and Norman, are in this book more than Ross is. They don't act any differently now that Hannah's married. I thought that was odd. You'd think that ending Hannah's big love triangle would change her relationship with her boyfriends, but apparently not. The prologue got my hopes up because it's been a while since the Hannah Swensen series included a murder at the start of the book. Normally, the start of book to start of mystery gap is about 175 pages. Sadly, starting the mystery sooner did not result in a better mystery. I'm glad we get more mystery, I just wish it was better mystery. I tried making 2 of the recipes in this book. I did the appetizers because I figured appetizers would be better than baking. They ended up being terrible. Curse you, recipes, luring me in with false promises of blue cheese deliciousness. Overall, I would not recommend this book. The main selling point is that we get to see what Hannah's new married life is like, and it's just the same as her old life. Very little has changed. They didn't even change Hannah's last name on the cover of the book. The mystery is below average, and Mother annoyed me far more than usual. I give Hannah Swensen number 21, Banana Cream Pie Murder, a 2 out of 10.